giving all praise unto Yahweh Hakodash. Double honors unto the apostles, a great millstone, and honest you brothers to be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. I'm the provide body coming out here to give you this truth for the grace and mercy of Yahweh Hakodash. This is a quick video, about 5 minutes or so. And we've been telling you here at Great Millstone for the longest time that you're going to see a great hunger within this earth. The book of Mark the 13th chapter, the book of 2nd Ezra the 15th chapter speaks in great detail about what's going to happen within the latter times, within the end times. And it wasn't going to be a time of plentiful and bountifulness. It was going to be a time of great suffering. And that's what we're seeing being exercised here on the earth right now. Esau is starting to put together a plan of action, or not starting to put together a plan of action, but rather more, he's actually having it to where it's happening out here. You got all kind of situations across the four corners of the earth where resources are becoming much more expensive and much harder to obtain. And as a result, you're seeing these Greek farmers, as you can see in the video in the background, they're protesting at the price of the cost of these things, man. Okay, the cost of these things. And there's two things here that's important. Now, what does the scripture say? It says, when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction shall come upon them. So you was thinking peace and safety 2018. Look how quick things moved. Now remember that, the apostles term, I forget the name of the year, but there was a term that was befitting for the pace to which things started to move. And the whole spirit changed, man. Ever since we got into 2020, the whole speed changed. Because Esau knows he has a short time. The book of Revelation, the 12th chapter on the 12th verse, says that the devil was going to come down having great wrath, because he knows he has a short time. Why does he know he has a short time? Because the men of the Lord are out here teaching the word. Greek farmers on tractors protest unbearable fuel and fertilizer costs. So ever since you had the thing pop off in Ukraine, and it's all by design. It's all by design, right? Russia and America have got all kind of deals that are not going to get broken. All kind of trade deals are not going to get broken. All kind of travel deals, and all of these different things that make it to where you got to ask yourself, are they really enemies, or is something bigger at play? Okay, this guy Vladimir Putin, he's coming in a totally different vibration to the regular Edomite out here within the West, but they're ultimately in bed with each other, for lack of a better word. They're still trying to achieve what's known as the New World Order, man. That's what they're trying to achieve out here within the world. Okay, this is where they're going with it. This is what they're trying to achieve within the world, and they're happy to have it to where millions of people starve. Okay, millions of people go without. Millions of people haven't got no food, no water, no resources, whatever the situation may be, in order for them to achieve their ultimate end all be all. Now, what we know is, as this plan comes together, it's going to start falling apart at the same time. When he's about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast his wrath upon him. That's put in the book of Job, the 20th chapter, Salakia. Okay, but for the average person, this is an important piece of news, because fertilizer costs, that has a direct impact on the food prices. Fuel costs, as I've been saying for the longest, that has a direct impact on what? On food prices. Now, fertilizer, that actually has an impact not only on the food prices, but if you can't obtain that fertilizer because you can't afford it, because your margins are too thin, and you better believe these farmers, their margins are always thin, right? They work off of razor thin margins. So if it don't make business sense for a lot of these people, they just pack it in and they sell the business off. Okay, they sell the business off, or they just shut down and declare bankruptcy, whatever the situation it may be. And then ultimately what happens is a situation where the access to food becomes much more difficult. And this is what we're seeing throughout the four corners of the earth. Food is becoming more and more scarce. Athens, right, March 18th, hundreds of Greek farmers, some on tractors, protested in Athens on Friday, demanding more tax cuts. And the same thing I'm seeing the same thing here within the UK. They're almost speaking about tax cuts to mitigate the rising prices in fuel. That's what they're trying to do right now, because basic living costs is gone crazy right now. Are demanding more cuts and subsidies to combat high fuel and fertilizer prices, which have soared since Russia's invasion of the Ukraine. The farmers. So this is and again, you've had last year's harvest. You had the year before's harvest. Then suddenly, shall the store houses appear empty. And why are they going to appear empty? Because here it is, you're surviving off the store, right? When you got a mechanical system, you put dampers within the system, or you apply the same logic to food distribution. What's going to be the damper? The damper is going to be your storehouses, so that when you have irregularities in food production, you could use the storehouses. So what happens when you haven't got any production at all because the prices are too high? Well, you're gonna have a situation where the damper, the storehouse, is gonna appear empty. The storehouse shall appear empty, and we've seen a few instances of that where shelves were laid bare. We saw that. We've seen situations where they've had to cut production. We've seen it all over the world. Now you're seeing the fuel and fertilizer come into play. So pretty soon, these situations are gonna come to a head. These situations are gonna culminate in a scenario where the book of Mark, the 13th chapter, is gonna be fulfilled. There shall be famines within the world, right? The time of Jacob's trouble, the hour of temptation. Because here it is, the mainstream way of getting food is gonna be what? Demolished. But Esau's gonna come with that CHIP and say, look, in order for you to be able to access what's left, we're going to have to ration it. And this is the digital version of the rationing, which is going to be the CHIP. The farmers who staged weeks of protest, weeks over high energy prices, right, earlier this year, say the costs are so high, they will be forced to produce less, okay, and also raise prices. Check that out. So less is being produced, but it's going to be produced at a higher price. This is what's coming to this world, man. Great hunger, a great dearth. Not dearth, sorry. Great hunger, great famines. The government has so far spent 3.7 euros since September to alleviate the pain from soaring energy prices. But now what you have to understand is, why are these prices going up? Because you had 2 years of free printing. A lot of these countries sent their people, their workforces home, and they paid them from home because of the COVID, right? They did that. And now you got it to wait, inflation's in there because you've been printing all kind of money. Look at America. They printed about 70% of the dollars that have ever been in existence. They printed them in recent times off of the back of what? Of the COVID. All right. And lo and behold, look what's happening now. You got a situation where what? Prices are going up. It's not going up because of the Ukraine. It's not going up. I mean, that's part of it. But the one of the main reasons inflation is going up, and they showed a graph of when Biden had gone into office, the main reason prices are going up is because you've had a mismanagement of finances. Money got printed out, right? Quantitative easing, right? Checks was being paid to people for doing nothing. Now you're reaping the benefits of that. Anyways, with that, I'm going to say, all praise unto Yahweh, Shema, Shah, Shema, Korah, Kodash, double honors unto the apostles of great millstone, and honor to you brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity. Shalom.